Netscape developed a browser called Netscape Communicator. Netscape developed a browser called Netscape Communicator. That is the world's popular browser at that time. Actually, first browser was Mosaic. Mosaic is the name of first browser. Mosaic is the name of first browser. Worldwide, people started using internet with a browser called Netscape actually. Even today, the standards of browser are managed from Netscape. That means every browser even today follows the standards of Netscape. That means the basic architecture of Chrome, Firefox, Opera, Safari, everybody, they use Netscape architecture only. The browser architecture is Netscape. So Netscape is the popular browser in 1995. What happened is these people, Netscape appointed Brendan Eich to develop a client-side script. Appointed Brendan Eich to develop a client-side script for their browser. Netscape appointed Brendan Eich to develop a client-side script for their browser. So Netscape wants to use a special language. They want to use a separate language. And they started using the language called ECMA. But ECMA was not enough to handle latest HTML. That's the reason Netscape wanted a separate language for their browser. And they appointed Brendan Eich. And Brendan Eich developed a language called LiveScript. Actually, it was first called Mocha, which was later renamed as LiveScript. Brendan Eich developed a language called Mocha. When he developed, he named it as Mocha. And later it was named as LiveScript. The name changed from Mocha to LiveScript. And Brendan Eich, whatever the LiveScript he designed, that is what we are using today as JavaScript. He is the father of JavaScript. He invented JavaScript. And that LiveScript is now called as JavaScript. How it came, the name JavaScript is nothing but he developed LiveScript. After he developed, the script belongs to whom? Script belongs to Netscape. He was just an employee there. He was appointed for developing a script and he developed it and given to Netscape. Now Netscape responsibility to maintain that script. And what is problem is Netscape is not a company which is capable of maintaining a language. They were only browser company. They were unable to maintain a language. That's the reason what happened is Netscape what Netscape have done is Netscape given its LiveScript to Sun Microsystems to maintain and upgrade. They given that LiveScript to Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems is a popular for Sun Microsystems is popular for their language called Java, right? That is the reason. So Sun Microsystems renamed it as JavaScript. It renamed it as JavaScript. There is no relation between Java and JavaScript. Zero. There is no relation at all between Java and JavaScript. Then why it is called JavaScript? It is called JavaScript just because to tell the world that this is from the same people who are building Java. Because at that time on internet, Java was very popular, and everybody knows Java very well. And developers will not use every language until or unless they know who is behind them. For example, these days you see people are behind the languages, libraries like library frameworks like Angular, React. But do you know, other than Angular, React, similar to Angular, React, so many are there. Several companies are using them. That means several companies are using so many technologies other than Angular, React, which are very popular. You may not know about them. Then why people know only two, Angular, React? There are so many like Backbone JS, Ember JS, Knockout JS. Even companies ask that. Some companies for Java developer, .NET developers, full stack developers, they ask, we don't want React or Angular. We want the script called Knockout JS or Backbone JS or Ember. So these days, why React and Angular became popular? Just because of the community behind them. React belongs to whom? React belongs to Facebook. Angular belongs to whom? Angular belongs to Google. That is why they are popular. It's not like they are greatest technologies. They have so many advanced concepts. Nothing. We have more better features in other technologies. That's the reason if you have watched on some YouTube channels and all, some experienced software developers, they post videos like, I don't like React or Angular. They are not good for me. They are useless. Why? Because that is their idea. You cannot force your knowledge on others saying that this is great, this is best. Right? For you, it may be, but for him, his requirements, it may not be. Then he will use a different language, different tool. That means software developers will immediately adopt a language or a tool if they correctly know who is behind. And if he knows that Microsoft like people are behind, Google like people are behind, then why we use them? Because we have a confidence that if any problem comes, they will resolve easily. Because there are very big people behind this, any technical issue comes, they can easily resolve. That is the reason Sun Microsystems wants to tell the world that this script is maintained by us. That's the reason they named that script as what? JavaScript. There is nothing else relation between Java and JavaScript. Just to tell the developers community that this is maintained by the same people who are maintaining Java. They named it as JavaScript. So first it was Mocha, after that LiveScript, after that JavaScript. After that, what happened is in early 2002. So in early 2002, Netscape stopped its services. Netscape stopped its services and given the rights of JavaScript to ECMA. They given the rights of JavaScript to ECMA. ECMA. That means In 2002, early 2002, Netscape company stopped. Why Netscape company stopped? Because actually Netscape browser we have to purchase and use. And by 2002, there were so many free browsers and nobody purchasing browsers. That's the reason they have to stop their services. Completely Netscape shut down in 2002, that company. But they have a language. Who was maintaining that language? Sun Microsystems. So they haven't continued. They simply taken the language from Sun Microsystems and given to ECMA. That means, so after 2002 onwards, that script is under the control of a group called ECM, European Computer Manufacturers Association, that is ECMA. Actually, these two people took the responsibility. Even today, it is under their control. Even today, it is under their control. From there onwards, they started given the versions of JavaScript. The versions of JavaScript are configured with ECMA, are configured with ECMA script, are configured with ECMA script version. ECMA script versions. That means, so JavaScript in 2015, it is called as ES5. ES5, or it is called ECMA script 2015 actually. After that, in 2016, it is called ES6. After that, ES7, and ES8. Latest is ES22. That means ECMA script 2022. That is the ECMA script. These are the versions of JavaScript. So JavaScript from 2015 onwards, we changed its name. It is called as ECMA script. It is no longer called as JavaScript. But still our developers and our people know it by the name as JavaScript. But its official name is ES. Its official name is ES, which many people don't know. That's the reason when we are learning JavaScript, some people ask, sir, after finishing JavaScript, will you teach ES also? Many people ask that, right? Why? Because they don't know what is JavaScript first, right? So ES is not advanced of JavaScript. ES is JavaScript. In ES, there are so many versions. Latest version is 2022, but companies are still using ES6 only. ES6. Advanced in companies is ES6. Even you can also just mention ES6. That is enough, because no company is asking more than ES6. In ES22, some latest features are there, which I will explain. We will learn latest, but always in resume mention up to only ES6. Why? Because if you mention that ES22 I know, then interviewer don't know ES22. Then he thinks that this person is genius than me. He know 2022. Then I will play with him. Then he will start asking you very complicated questions, because his ego will hurt. Because he learnt, he knows ES6 and you say 2022 after all fresher. Right? That's his ego will hurt. That's the reason he will not tolerate that, and he will ask you so many questions that you can't answer. So as per the ego of interviewer, we will follow. Right? What he knows, we will tell that I know less than you only. We will never say that I know better than you. Right? That means whatever he says, okay, I don't know all this. I know only up to this. right? Because that is the right way. Otherwise, you will face problems in interviews. So, even you know the latest versions, the best one is to mention about what is latest used in companies. That's enough. Even you know the latest features, keep it with you. No need to expose them. You can use them when you need them. When you need them, you already learned, you know them, then you don't need to use them until or unless the company implements the new version. So keep that knowledge with you, but mention about the stable version which companies are asking. So what is that version is ES6. So that is enough actually. You see, this is ecmainternational.org. This is the official people of JavaScript actually. This is the official people of JavaScript. ecmainternational.org. This is their official site. This is their official site. This is official ECMA. That is the official website. And if you want to know what is latest happenings in JavaScript, you can come here. You can come here and you can learn what is new things are happening in JavaScript. You can get updated information here. But the documents for this, both ECMA, another group is there, na? Who is that? WhatWG. WhatW is responsible for, these people are responsible for JavaScript and these people are responsible for HTML. These people are responsible for HTML and CSS also. HTML, CSS, these people are responsible. So JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and important is official people are these, and their documents are designed by MDN. They are designed by MDN, actually Developer Mozilla Network. This is the official people. Developermozilla.org. These people will create the help docs. And actually, this is under the control of Brendan Eich. Brendan Eich is the person who invented JavaScript, and under his guidance, this group is working. Developers, MDN, we call as Mozilla Developers Network. Brendan Eich, I told you, he developed JavaScript. Not only JavaScript, you know Mozilla Firefox. He designed that Mozilla Firefox. He was CEO of Mozilla company for several years. Few years back, he resigned from the CEO and he is now the head of this group called MDN, Mozilla Developers Network. Official HTML help documents and JavaScript help documents are designed by this community. If you want to know correctly about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you visit this website, developer.mozilla.this. And these people are responsible for creating the help documents for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Official information will be in their websites. Official help will be in this website, right? You can visit that. You see, actually, I told you, who are these people? These are the people who are responsible for inventing JavaScript. Actually, I will say MDN JavaScript. You see, according to MDN, this is Mozilla Developers Network. According to MDN, this is the definition of JavaScript. That is the definition of JavaScript. JavaScript is a lightweight, interpreted, just-in-time compiled programming language. That is what the definition I given. So whatever definitions I am giving you in HTML, CSS, JavaScript are officially taken from their people who built it. So because we want to reduce the we can say controversies, because generally people come and ask like, in that website I have seen like this, in this video somebody told like this. So to reduce the controversies, we will take the definitions officially from the people who built the technology. Then nobody can say that this is wrong, right? So because many times people have different definitions, the best option is know the correct definition from the correct people, then you can understand. So people who built JavaScript, what they say about JavaScript, it is a lightweight, interpreted, or just in time compiled. But latest, I told you, they haven't updated the latest definition. Better they should update. What is that latest? It is not only just in time, it is also AOT. AOT is what? Ahead of time. Now recently JavaScript is being used both just in time as well as ahead of time. And it is a programming language. See, it supports so many programming approaches. It supports so many programming, object-oriented, imperative, declarative, and different functional programming, different styles. It will support different programming approaches, right? This is the official people of JavaScript help documents, right? And one important is, what is the evolution? I hope you are clear now. So what is the evolution? First, it was Mocha. After that, it was LiveScript. After that, it was JavaScript. And now it is called as ECMA script. It is called as ECMA script. In short, you call as ES. Right? That is the basic evolution actually. And what is the version suitable for our learning process is ES6. Even if in future you are learning React, Angular like technologies, they use JavaScript ES6 only. They use JavaScript ES6. Internally, latest, they are using that. Right? So this is basic of evolution. Huh? So you learn 2 points. What is the purpose of JavaScript and evolution? Right. One interesting point is who developed the JavaScript? Brendan Eich. Do you know he designed complete JavaScript in just 10 days? He took only 10 days to design complete JavaScript. And whatever he developed in JavaScript till today, we use the same with some more additional new concepts extra added. But 90% of entire core JavaScript is the same what he's designed. And he just took 10 days for designing entire JavaScript. So it was revolution at that time because very fast developed language was JavaScript, very speed, right? So here, how this works, how to use, we will see today. Same like CSS, nothing special. So first thing, what we are going to learn is integrating JavaScript into HTML page, integrating JavaScript into HTML page. So if you want to use JavaScript with HTML, how to integrate, how we can handle that. Integrating JavaScript into HTML page, same like CSS. In how many ways you can integrate CSS? 3 ways. What are those? Inline, embedded, external file. JavaScript also same. JavaScript also same. So you can integrate JavaScript functions into HTML page using 3 techniques. So you have inline, embedded, and external file. Inline, embedded, and external file. There are 3 techniques: inline, embedded, external. Because you already learned about this in CSS, it is easy now to understand. Actually, what is inline? So inline is nothing but inline technique is, so it allows developer to write JavaScript functions functions directly inside element, directly inside element. It allows developer to write JavaScript functions directly inside element. What is advantage is it is faster. It is faster, but cannot be reused. But you cannot reuse. You cannot reuse. That is the problem now. Already we discussed about inline technique. In CSS, we discussed inline technique. The same thing. It allows developers to write the functions inside element. It is faster, but you cannot reuse. If same functions you need again and again, then writing again and again is difficult. But if you don't want to reuse, we want only standard functions, then we can directly go with inline. I will show you that here. So we will see here a simple technique, how it works. So let's open our project here. So here we are adding the project here. This is Flipkart. Yeah. Now in this, I will add a new folder. I will keep the folder as JavaScript examples. Okay, in this, let's add a file, home.html. Okay, in this, I am defining a simple HTML page. And in this page, I am writing a simple heading. And the heading is some click print button to print page. Like this, I am defining. And you have a button called print. Now, what should happen is whenever user clicks the print button, it should print the page. When user clicks this print button, it should print the page. For that, we want to write some functionality. Then see how we can write directly for this button. We have to write on click. On click. On click means when button is clicked. You are going to learn them, functions and all. I will explain events and all. I am just explaining what is meant by inline. Later you will learn what is the on click event, what are the functions, how they work. Step by step we will discuss. So what does this means? When button is clicked on click, it should print. We have a function called window.print. That is the function. Then that's enough. And you see now when I click on print button, it opens the printer settings and it can print. So the JavaScript function is directly written inside a element. So you can use it. What is problem is one small line is okay. Suppose there are 20-30 lines functionality and we want to use in different places, then writing like this is difficult. Then better we use other techniques, right? For simple functionality and you don't want to reuse, this is the best. This is the easiest way, right? You can directly write inline. So we have to write inline like this. This is an example, syntactically like this. You just have a button on click, window.print. JavaScript is case sensitive, capitalization matters. The function names and all, how I am writing, in the same way you need to write. Capitalization problem will come. All must be in lowercase when you write the function names and all, like window.print. These are all in lowercase. This is very simple. We know how to handle this. So if you put this in your HTML page, it will start printing, right? That's a very simple functionality. But we cannot reuse. To reuse, what is the another technique? Embedded technique. So embedded technique is nothing but, so in this technique, developer can keep all JavaScript functions in a script container. In this technique, developer can keep all JavaScript functions in a script container, so that you can access and use from various locations in page. So that you can access and use from various locations in page. That's what you saw embedded CSS also. Now you remembered, you learned embedded CSS, the same process here, right? Remember, whatever you learned till now in HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, we have to same implement here. That's the reason sometimes some guest appearances will be here. Guest appearance, like sometimes people directly try to attend JavaScript onwards. They think that they already know HTML, CSS, and they want JavaScript. They think, right? They think that they already know everything in HTML, CSS. They want to do from JavaScript. And if you are not attending regular sessions of our HTML, CSS, directly coming today for JavaScript, you will not fit into this. You can't handle. Why? Because here we are going to continue what we have done earlier, right? And if you missed the earlier part, so then you can't handle. You can't manage. So the same process we will continue. That is the reason. Right? If you missed those sessions, you are directly attending from JavaScript, because some people do like that. If you are directly doing that, you are in trouble, right? You can't understand. Better quit. Why? Because so this is for the people who are continuing our sessions from HTML, CSS onwards, right? So because we will save the time, we will implement the designs that we created. That means in HTML, we created a design that we will implement in JavaScript. Such process we will follow. That is the reason. So what is embedded technique? This already we learned in CSS. Now tell me where to embed, in head or body? In both locations you can embed. What is difference between embed in head and embed in body? Embed in head will load into memory. From there it is delivered to page. Embed in body directly loads when the page loads. If you return some functions which should execute directly, then better write in body. If you return some functions that should execute only when user wants it, then better put it in head. You know both concepts, right? So that is the point. So here syntactically, here one more point. You can embed in a head or body. You can embed in head or body sections. Same like CSS you have learned. Syntactically it will be like this now. We have a script, and inside the script, what you have to do is you have to write a function. The function name some print page. And remember, function is a keyword, and print page is a user defined word. That means this is user defined name. That means you can give any name you want. The word function is keyword. Compulsory it should be function only. But the name you given for function can be anything. Any name you can give. And this functionality what it should do, that is a reserved one. Window.print. Here you cannot write your own things. Here you have to use only reserved words, reserved functions. So it is going to print. Now, how it is called? How it is called is in the button, we write like this. In the button, we write on click. On click, we call the function. What is the function name? Print page. That's it. This is embedded technique. Generally, how you call classes, IDs by using selectors. So here we do by using the reference name of the function. So print page, that is a function, and that function have a functionality of printing the page, and which we are calling on button click. So what is advantage is I can call this print page from anywhere. In that currently one line is there. Later even you are having 20, 30 lines, hundreds of lines, you can access just by the name of what? Print page. This enables reusability. You can reuse. Let's see now. I will go here and first I will copy this code for you. This is the example for inline. For inline, this example. For embedded, see now, I will remove this window.print. Now you can see it is not printing anymore. It's not working. The print. Now we will go to the script and we write a function. What it is it? Print page. What it should do? Window.print. And this print page is accessed here. Print page. That's it. This is embedded technique. That is the embedded technique. Now you see when I click on print, it is again working fine. This time we are using an embedded technique. So you can embed in head or you can embed in body. So embedded is this. This is example for embedded. I will copy this and put it here. And while using embedded, some more points you have to know. While using embedded, some more points. You remembered when you embed CSS, we have to mention MIME type. What is the MIME type of CSS? Text/CSS. I told you two things, MIME type and media type. What is the media type of CSS? Media type of CSS, we have three: screen, print, and speech. Remember that? We can use all, you can use screen, you can use print. That is media type. MIME type is text/CSS. Similarly, JavaScript. So embedded MIME type. MIME type is JavaScript. Embedded MIME type is text/JavaScript or language equal to JavaScript. You can use both. Language equal to JavaScript, language equal to JavaScript, or text JavaScript. You can use both of them, text JavaScript or language JavaScript. And recent days, we just use text JavaScript. This is an old method actually, language JavaScript. So how do you write? Syntactically, whenever you write script, mention the type as what? Text JavaScript. Many times people ask like, is there anything else other than text JavaScript? Yes. That depends on where and how you use JavaScript. So JavaScript is used with different MIME types. Later you will learn. Actually, when you are using JavaScript OOP concepts, that means JavaScript have a module system which uses type as module, which uses type as module. Later you will learn that. That means syntactically we write like this: script type is equal to module, not text JavaScript. This later when you are learning JavaScript OOP concept, you can put that. You can implement this. But that is not required every time. The general MIME type always used for JavaScript is text/JavaScript. There are so many others also. That means suppose JavaScript have a different MIME type, different MIME type based on compilers also. JavaScript have different MIME type based on compilers also. I told you JavaScript is used interpreted. Interpreted means it is translated by browser line by line. Inside the browser, there is an interpreter which is going to translate. But when JavaScript is used separately outside, I told you AOT technique, ahead of time technique, then separate JavaScript compilers are used. We have so many JavaScript compilers. We have compilers like V8. We have compiler like Babel. These are the popular compilers of JavaScript. We use these compilers. If JavaScript is used with such compilers, then you have to mention the type like this. You have to mention script type is equal to text/Babel. Like this you have to write. That means always MIME type is not same. Always MIME type is not same. It changes. It changes. But when you are using JavaScript with HTML in browser, text JavaScript is enough. Later you may use this. In different occasions you may use that. For example, I will show you. Actually, Babel is a compiler. This is Babel compiler. This is Babel. It is a JavaScript compiler. We can use this compiler. Actually, it is used in Angular, React-like technologies. Angular and React-like technologies, they translate JavaScript using this compiler only. Babel is a popular compiler for them. So actually, if you are using such extra compilers, then MIME type will change. MIME type will be like text/Babel, right? So this is important about MIME type. One more point is that this is very, very important. Another important point is JavaScript is not a strictly typed language. Not a strictly typed language. This is very important. JavaScript is not a strictly typed language. Hence, you have to turn on strict mode manually. JavaScript is not a strictly typed language. Hence, you have to turn on the strict mode manually. That's important. How do we turn on strict mode? What is meant by strictly language is actually when you are using C, C++, Java, .NET languages, they have some language rules. According to the rules only you have to write. If you violate the rules, then the program will fail to compile. But in JavaScript, it's not like that. In JavaScript, sometimes you violate the rules, it will take an alternative way to run. That is lot of headache. Why? Because one person follows the rules, another person will not follow the rules, and all are working on same project. It's confusion. We want all developers to do only one process, means follow one process. For example, I will show you what is meant by strict. Strict is nothing but suppose let's say here I am adding a file here. See, I am writing a simple script. Generally here we are defining x equal to 10 and I am printing x equal to the value of x. Don't worry what I am doing, just see. Actual concept is x is a variable. In that variable, how much value is stored? 10 value is stored and you are printing it. As per coding standards, as per coding rules, a variable must be first declared, then you have to use. Here I haven't declared. Where I declared x? I haven't declared a variable, but it will work. It will work. Generally, it will not work in other languages, but here it will work. You can see it is working fine. It is working fine. That means JavaScript allows your program to run even you don't follow the standards. Due to this, lot of code inconsistency will come. Code inconsistency is nothing but on one project 10 people are working doing the same design and one person writes in one way, another person writes in another way. Then it leads to a lot of confusion. That's what we want to avoid. We ask our developers to follow some standards. If they don't follow, it should not work. How we can force them? Actually, we can force them, see, like this. At the beginning of the script, you have to just use the word use strict. That's it. When you use this use strict and semicolon, now automatically you are telling the browser that please verify the standards also. That means you are telling the browser that not just compile, verify the code standards. Now browser will additionally compile the code with standards, and it finds any misuse of standards, it will simply block. It will show error. You see now? Now previously it was working, huh? But now when I refresh, it's not working. Let's right click, go to inspect. If you want to change what are the errors in JavaScript, JavaScript errors, you have to check in console. Click on this console. Here you will find a console. Here you will find a console. Click on console. You will see X is not defined. It says that X variable is not defined. But if I remove the strict mode, it will not verify. It will simply return result. If I put the strict mode, it says that you can't directly use like this. And you see, it says that you cannot use. Then what we have to do? We have to declare a variable. After declaring, we have to use, then it will work. That means without this also it will work. But if you remove this, use strict. So we ask our JavaScript developers mandatory to turn on strict mode and write. Why we need to turn on strict mode? Because if strict mode is not on, then developer may violate the standards. This leads to a lot of code inconsistency. To have a better consistent code, always turn on strict mode. In many interviews, they ask this, what is strict mode? Right? JavaScript strict mode is that. Strict mode is this, right? Why we need strict? So strict mode allows to reduce code inconsistency. It will allow to reduce the code inconsistency. So this is important. So you can turn on strict mode by using the following command. What is that? Use strict. So syntactically, you have to write like this. Script type is equal to text slash JavaScript. That is the MIME type. And starting with what? Use strict. And your code. Suppose I given x equal to 10. And some I am printing document dot write. Later I will show you printing related things. Just observe the example. If you write like this, then it will show so invalid. Why it is invalid? X is not defined. X is not defined. That means you have to declare and use. So, and the same, it is valid if you remove strict mode. If you remove the strict mode, it is valid. So while working with JavaScript, make sure that you mention the MIME type and make sure that you turned on the strict mode. That is good for JavaScript anywhere, whenever you are using JavaScript. And when you are writing inline, you can't do it. In inline, strict mode cannot be there. Only it can be there when you are using embedded or in external file. Right. This is strict mode. One more concept is there. Another point is, so you can target JavaScript. You can target JavaScript functions. You can target JavaScript functions to legacy browsers by enclosing the script in HTML comments. By enclosing the script in HTML comments. Actually, this is not necessary for you, but in some old projects, you may see this. That's the reason you should know that. Actually, legacy browsers means old version browsers are present. Old version browsers cannot understand new JavaScript. Some new JavaScript functions they can't understand. Then what we have to do is, we have to tell the old version browser that this code is having some new features. If you can translate. If you cannot translate, ignore. If it doesn't ignore, then it will show errors. That means we have to tell that any new keywords or functions are given to you. If you know them, compile them. If you don't know them, skip them, ignore them. That means use them as comments. Comments means skip. That means it is not compiled. How you do that? Actually, we do that by using this technique. What we do is here, wherever you write JavaScript, here, script type is text slash what? JavaScript. After that first line, what is it? Use strict, that is that. And here, what I am doing is, I am keeping this function in HTML comment. This is a HTML comment. Here I am writing like this. That means inside HTML comment, JavaScript functions are written. This you will see only from very senior experienced developers. That is also in old projects. Why? Because in old projects, they design some functionality and they use in the new browsers. Then it is okay, no problem. But in a new language they written something and they try to run in old browser, it will not work. That is the reason, if you write like this, then whatever old features it can understand, it will take them, compile them. If any new thing came and it is not in its library, then it will not try to compile, it will skip it. Then what happens is only the result is not returned, but program is successfully compiled. This is one technique usually we do for ignoring the new things for old browsers. This is not at all recommended and used for current generation. But sometimes when you are working on very old projects, you may see this kind of code. Then you should know why they are writing like this. That's the reason I am just explaining. You see now here, I am defining this. Let's run this. And here we refresh here. And you see, I click on this print, then print is working. Even the code is written in HTML comments, it is working. So then why people write like that? That is just to target legacy browsers. So syntactically, it is like this. So you have to write script, type is equal to text / JavaScript. And here we have use strict. And after that, we put the comment like this. And you have some function and name. And we have to close that. That is the way how you configure. You may see these kind of things in old projects. So how do we define MIME type? How do we define strict mode? And how do we target our code for legacy browsers? Legacy browsers are old version browsers where you can implement everything. Right. So this is basically how you manage JavaScript embedded. So we have two techniques, inline, another one embedded. While writing embedded, you should remember MIME type, you should use strict mode, and if necessary, you can use legacy code, right? Yeah. What is drawback in embedded? What is drawback in embedded? It is slow when compared to inline. Only that you cannot use across pages. Na? Suppose in another page, same functionality I want. Can you access these functions? So what is the solution? You can maintain functions in an external file. We have another one. What is it? External files. External files. JavaScript functions. JavaScript functions can be defined in a separate file, with extension .js. CSS files will have extension .css. JavaScript files will have extension .js. What is advantage is so that you can reuse the functions across pages. You can reuse the functions across pages. You can access and use across pages. Anywhere you can use it. You can reuse the functions across pages. Then what is drawback? What is drawback of external file? In CSS also we learned a drawback now. What is the drawback of external file? Using an external file will always increase number of requests for page. If number of requests for page increases, page load time increase. So unnecessarily we cannot use an external file. So what is the problem with external file? Using an external file will always increase the number of requests and also page load time will increase the number of requests and also the page load time. Using an external file will always increase the number of requests and also page load. So unnecessarily you cannot use an external file until or unless you need across pages. So example for this is first point, go to SRC folder. We have a SRC folder now. Add a new folder by name scripts and add a new file by name some print.js, and in this file you have to put the code. Use strict and you have to write the code. Function print page, and you need to define window.print like this. Only the function is written. When you write the functions of JavaScript in a separate file, then you don't need to use a script element. You can directly write only functions. Same like how you written embedded styles, external styles. When you write styles in external style sheet, you don't need a style tag now. How do we link this? So you have to link script file by using script element, not by link element. By using script element. That means in head or body section, you can link script source is equal to /src/print.js. Like this, we need to define. You can add type is text /what JavaScript. That's how we embed. And once you link, those functions are accessible here. So we have a head. In the body, we have a button. On click is equal to print page. And we are just using print. So this time the code is coming from a separate file. What is good is you can reuse across pages. What is bad is it will affect the page loading. So if there are so many files attached to a HTML page, it will take time to load. But if you need external, means you want to access and use across pages, then you can use it. Right. So this is here. And already I told you, you can keep that script anywhere. In head section, body section. You remembered one more also I told you. Outside. So anywhere it will work. But depending on the requirements, you have to decide. Based on what functionality is written inside, you have to decide. Right. So we have the scripts configured in external file. So I will show you here. Let's remove this code from here. Okay. And go to src. In that scripts, add a new file, print.js. And you paste that code here. Now see here, this print button is not working because we haven't linked it. So we have to go to home, script source is equal to /src/scripts/print.js. And now it is working. I click on print, it works. This time it is coming from external file. And when you keep external file, here I give an src only, na? You can use what? Yeah, it depends how you written, where you kept folders and all. Okay, now that is the example of embedded. Now here embedded and external. Here one more point is, what is another key concept here is, so you can minify. You can minify the JavaScript code and use minified code for production. How do you minify? What is minify means? Reducing the size. For that, I told you CSS minifier na. Similarly, JavaScript minifier also present. You can copy your code and minify the code, and you can use the minified code in your project. Just add min.js. Same like CSS. So usually what we do, copy that code that we have, and we have JS minifier. This is actually JavaScript minifier. In this JavaScript minifier, type your JavaScript code and you just click on minify. You can see it is minified. And you copy this minified code, come back to your page. Here add a new file. What is it? print.min.js. In that paste the minified code and you go to the home and you link the minified file. Currently I am not linking any file. Then you can see the print option is not working. It's not working. And I will just use print.min.js. And you can see the minified code also working fine. Right? So you can minify by using JS minifiers. No need to show that. You already know the process how we done in CSS. The same you have to follow here, minification. So this is the three different ways of using JavaScript in a HTML. What are the three methods? Inline, embedded, external files. Same like CSS only you can do. Now here you need to know some drawbacks, issues with JavaScript. What are the drawbacks of JavaScript? What are the issues with JavaScript? So what is JavaScript and how JavaScript is integrated, and what are the problems with JavaScript? Issues with JavaScript, first point, it is not a strongly typed language. JavaScript is not a strongly typed language. So validating data type requires explicit functions. This is very much problem. Validating data type requires explicit functions. So first thing, JavaScript is not a strongly typed language. What is meant by strongly typed? C, C++, Java, .NET, these are all strongly typed language. Strongly typed language is nothing but, actually, suppose if I declare a variable where x equal to 10, that means x is what type? X is a number. Into x, if I store John, so x is string now. But it should not allow to store. If x is already a number, then it should not allow to store a string inside. It should show that I can't store a string. But JavaScript will allow. JavaScript will allow. That means there is no restriction. In Java, .NET, C, C++, you declare int I. That means integer I. That means in I, can I store a string? No. But in JavaScript, you can. That means there is no data types. There are data type restrictions. That is why we call it as not a strongly typed language. It's not a strongly typed language. It can change. That means you see, suppose you are dealing with some details like suppose x is 10 and later into x I entered some John and automatically it will not show any problem. And you see it will not show any problem. It is going to display the result here. We have to declare na? Yeah. X is declared because it is in strict mode. Now you see it is working, John working. Later into that X, if I send a true or false, means it is Boolean, automatically takes that Boolean. That is not good. That means you declared age and somebody entered a string. It will take. Then what we have to do? We have to write extra functions to verify is it number or string. And if it is number, then allow, not then restrict. You need lot of explicit validations. That is the problem of JavaScript. JavaScript is not a strongly typed language. And very important, it is not a strictly typed language also. It is not a strictly typed language. So you have to turn on strict mode manually. That I already explained na? Manually. Just now I explained about that. What is difference between strongly typed, strictly typed? What is strongly typed? What is strictly typed? Strongly typed is about data types. Strongly typed is about data types. Strictly typed is about rules, programming standards and rules. So if you don't follow the programming standards and rules, then strictly typed will not allow to compile. Strongly typed is about data types and this is about rules. So both are problems, right? So JavaScript is not strongly typed and JavaScript is not strictly typed. Another important is it is not an OOP language, object-oriented programming language. It supports only few features of OOP, object-oriented programming. So extensibility issues will be there. Extensibility issues will be there. Code level security issues will be there. So there is no dynamic polymorphism, which I will explain what is dynamic polymorphism in object-oriented approach we will learn. These are all the drawbacks. JavaScript is not an OOP language. It has some concepts of OOPs, but it is not a complete OOP language. That means you have a class. In a class, there will be a constructor. Generally, in a class, you can have private, protected public access modifiers, but JavaScript don't have. JavaScript don't have access modifiers. It is having a class, but it is not having access modifier. JavaScript don't have interfaces. JavaScript don't have abstract classes. JavaScript don't have abstract methods, abstract classes, abstract properties. JavaScript don't have any sealed classes or private classes. Then only class and objects. There is no public private access modifiers. Then code level security will not be there. Overloading, overriding like issues will be there. So a lot of problems are there. See, it is not a OOP language, so we can't expect all. That means it supports some features. If anybody tries to argue that JavaScript is an OOP language, then you should ask him the questions like, then is it having access modifiers? He will say no. Then how it is an OOP language? Is it having abstract classes? No. Then is it having interfaces? No. Then OOP means it should support all this. And if it is not supporting, it's not an OOP language. Having just class and some features is not an OOP language. That's the reason in official site also they say that JavaScript supports object-oriented functional structural approach. It supports that approach. It's not a language. So these are all the problems. Then what is solution? So solution is nothing but the alternative for JavaScript that modern web developers use is TypeScript. TypeScript is an alternative for JavaScript. Remember, it is not an replacement. So TypeScript is not replacement for JavaScript. Replacement for JavaScript. It is just an alternative. It is just an alternative. That means in the modern web designing, developers can use a language called TypeScript. TypeScript have all these features. TypeScript is an OOP language. It is strongly typed. It supports all OOP features. So just like your Java, so it is a very big language. And in the modern web designing, people are using this. Suppose you are learning React or Angular or Vue or other technologies. There instead of JavaScript, some companies use TypeScript. Actually, now in Angular, there is no JavaScript at all. They have to use only TypeScript. There is no other chance. But why we are saying it is not replacement? Because browser can't understand TypeScript. Then what is use? As a developer, you write in TypeScript, translate it into JavaScript, and browser will use it. That means what you are doing is, as a developer, you are utilizing all OOP features and building an application. In the background, it will translate into JavaScript. You don't worry about that. But finally, browser needs only JavaScript. But very recently, just 3-4 weeks back, Microsoft successfully made a trail run of TypeScript in browser. Actually, TypeScript belongs to Microsoft. TypeScript belongs to Microsoft. All modern web technologies are using this TypeScript. Very recently, 3 weeks back, they successfully executed TypeScript directly in browser. And they officially announced that. That's a huge revolution now. And see, still it is a trail run. They have to do a lot of verifications. If it is perfectly completed and successful, there will be no more JavaScript in the world. There will be no more JavaScript. Nobody will touch JavaScript at all. If it happens, it will take a lot of time. It may take even 3-4 years of time from now. Why? Because successfully implementing a language in a browser, many people failed till now. Right? Many people failed. So many issues will be there because the problem is everybody don't use same browser. Na? Everybody don't use same browser. Different browsers, different apps, different environments. Then a language should fit into every environment. It takes time. And JavaScript is doing, still it is having some issues. And TypeScript can replace it in future, maybe. If it does, then it is a revolution now. Right? But still we are using JavaScript, and companies, majority modern applications, they write in TypeScript, translate into JavaScript. Right? So the solution for all these issues is TypeScript. It is the solution for them. So, but directly TypeScript cannot run on browser. So we have to learn both. Without JavaScript, you can't handle TypeScript. You have to learn JavaScript, then learn TypeScript, then it is good, right? The TypeScript you will learn when you are learning Angular, React like technologies, right? These are the issues of JavaScript. Now, once we know this, now we are going to learn how to use JavaScript in our page. That means how do we design interactions, how we can manage input output activities. Now dynamically creating the pages we will see. That we'll see in next session, right? And next tomorrow is holiday. We have no session tomorrow. Again, day after tomorrow we will continue. Okay, right? Yeah.